Hello and welcome to HawkTalk. It's Mohawk's Geek Culture Podcast where we talk about geek stuff, nerdy stuff, and all sorts of awesome. My name is Danny Shepard, and joining me as always is my lovely band of goons, starting with Jeremy Lee.
That young?
Noel Shefflin.
I am me.
Are you?
And Walk on Tony.
Hey guys, what it do, baby
Tony
boo?
Smith. I said your Twitter handle.
It's all right.
Whoops.
It's all right, dude. It's cool.
Can I walk on you?
No, you cannot. I feel like
Why
you're
not?
not understanding what that means.
If you ever
I
see
can't
Tony
read.
in the streets, make sure to physically put your foot on him. Don't kick him,
What?
but just like set your foot lightly on him and then try to walk up him.
Yes. Make sure you take a picture of it and then tweet it at him. Hashtag walk
I
on
feel
Tony.
like that's definitely not something you should do.
Hashtag Walk on Tony while you walk on Tony.
No. I don't support
Just
this.
kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't. Well, I just don't know how I would react to that.
Probably not very well.
I
Knowing
don't-
you, not very well.
It kind of depends on what clothes I was wearing, but if I'm out in public, it's probably best to not touch my public clothes.
To not put your feet on Tony. Anyway, welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah, we're just going to jump right into it today. So let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go. Let's go.
dive
to Twitter.
right in there.
Let's get back on the right track.
We're gonna.
All right, Jim Carrey.
We asked some questions, and you guys provided some answers. No. We asked a question, and then you guys asked subsequent questions that we will now proceed to answer.
Got it.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be a great episode.
It's going to be a great show.
It's gonna be a great show, boy.
It's going to be a great show, boy.
Hey, boy.
All right.
Irish.
Matt Everard starts it off with an intense question.
Is it about camping?
Intense?
It's not about camping,
Damn it.
but it is about any new theories on Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Oh, shiznit.
boy.
Game
Just
of
gonna
Thrones.
Go ahead and say spoiler alert right away before we get in anywhere. Spoiler alert. We're going to talk about spoilers on Game of Thrones. So be ready, or don't be ready. Be Frederick. Fred's not in the room right now. But
Okay.
Anyway,
Wherever he is, his eyes just twitched. Someone just said that.
he sneezed. He's like, who's talking about me? Anyway, Game of Thrones theories. So last episode just aired yesterday as of recording this. So that was episode 3 of this season.
True.
Any theories on where the season's going to go after seeing these last 2 episodes?
I stopped making predictions after we saw Sansa get defiled. Mm-hmm. And also when Arya lost her eyes. I was like, I no longer have any predictions because I have no idea what's going on. I felt like Flynn Rider. I must say that this is the strangest thing I have ever done. Yes, that's how I felt.
You're just like,
I don't know what's gonna happen. Holy hell. I don't. I stopped making predictions. There's one, I don't want to say prediction, but I want to say possibility that I think would be really cool to see. So, spoiler alert. So, Olenna Tyrell, she drinks the poison.
Yes.
And what she says to Jaime afterward,
Yes.
somehow she wins this.
Savage. Even in her death scene.
She wins her death.
yeah.
If that's not boss, I don't know what is, dude. I just
Right.
like Olenna Tyrell, bro.
She's always been boss.
True.
In
The Queen of
anything she's
Thorns.
done.
Yeah, dude. So based off of that, I think Jaime may have this kind of inner turmoil. Obviously, because now he knows who killed his son, but because I don't think he is going to tell Cersei. Or it's not going to come out. And she is going to somehow get to a point where maybe somehow she gets in front of, and I don't know, this may not happen or may not happen, your boy Tyrion, because she's still under the impression that he killed Joffrey.
Yeah.
And Sansa killed Joffrey. Now that Jaime knows that it's Olenna, there may be a full circle where he gets in between her because she may lose her mind. We've already seen it.
She's already lost her mind.
She's lost her. I mean, she's still
marbles
intact. she's
Is
still
hanging
intact.
on by a thread
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, no, she's
dude.
still intact. But
She's
they're
nuttier than squirrel poop.
Yeah, yes. Hashtag nuttier than squirrel poop. with a picture of Lena Headey as Cersei.
Yeah, tweet it at Tony, at Walk on Tony.
Hashtag nuttier than squirrel poop. So I think that there may come a point where Jaime, and that may be a turning point for him, seeing on an objective level, maybe I should get away from this person. And maybe it might be too late.
I think Jaime already knew that he was in too deep, but his conversation with Olenna kind of opened his eyes to it. Like, oh, wait, I am in too deep, and you're right. But he's not going to admit it there, obviously. But now that he knows that she was the one who killed Joffrey, like you said, that changes the dynamic between him and Tyrion and him and Cersei.
Yep. Totally does.
So,
Well, because we've already see that she's on this like rampage. Like she just refuses. It's like she's got like, I think she said something to this extent and like power for the sake of power.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's really all you're doing now. It's not power for the sake of like holding on to a dynasty. Y'all are done.
Yeah.
Like,
You're on the way out.
yeah, you're at this point, unless Tyrion finds some long lost love and, you know, consummates it, then there's going to be no heirs to you guys. And I can guarantee he's probably not going to want it to be a classic Lannister situation with his child. So I don't know. It's very interesting.
Didn't even cross my mind
yeah.
until this moment that this basically removes all blame from Tyrion.
Yep.
That
Yeah, dude.
just
Still killed Tywin, but did,
oh yeah, shot him with a crossbow. It was dope.
So no, he
Loves
still can be beheaded. He still can be executed for treason against the crime or treasonous acts.
totally. That's
Yeah.
But like Cersei's rage against him was not for killing Tywin.
that's true.
It was for killing
She-
Joffrey.
yeah,
you
she
could tell
she
that
did not
she-
like Tywin.
Yeah,
she doesn't really like
no
her
one
dad.
likes Tywin. Tywin doesn't like Tywin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, this like totally removes him from all like everything that had happened.
Yeah.
She was totally 100%
Wrong.
in the wrong.
In
And
the
now
wrong.
Jaime knows. Like Jaime says, if I see Tyrion, I'll kill him myself. But like this is all changes things now.
Yep.
Yeah, like
because,
why would you kill him now, dude?
I mean, he killed Tywin, and I think Jaime was the only one who actually still kind of liked his dad. Like, It
Yeah.
seemed like they had a troubled relationship, but he seemed like he respected
Seemed like he
his
respected
dad.
his dad a lot.
Was there any falling out there that we could see with Jaime and Tywin?
I mean, he wasn't stoked that he
Lost his hand and was now this.
He didn't. Yeah, he spoke down to him once he
Yeah.
lost his hand. So I
Yeah.
think he had some resentment, but I think he still looked up to him. Like I feel like part of him
I
still
think having
respected him.
respect is different than liking.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I think he liked his dad. I mean, we're getting into the weeds here, but I still
Yeah.
think this isn't going to change anything with
No.
Cersei. She's crazy.
So, real quick,
Oh no.
on Tyrion, you had a theory about Tyrion not exactly being a full Lannister.
Oh yeah, yeah. I totally think that Tyrion is a Targaryen.
yeah, not not an uncommon theory at this point.
Why do you think that?
Oh, like you mean what they all have in common?
Yeah.
So, Tyrion, Jon, and Daenerys, all their mothers died coming out of birth, and they're all technically bastards. What was the other thing? There's another thing. they had in
Tyrion
common.
looks completely different than any other Lannisters.
Yep.
Not even given the dwarfism, but all the other aspects, like different colored eyes, different colored hair.
So what do we think? Like, who do we think his? Do we think it's his mother or his father that is Targaryen?
His father. Yeah, his father.
His father's
So
Targaryen.
Aegar or Rhaegar?
No, his father.
Mad King, right?
Tyrion's father wasn't Rhaegar. Tyrion's father was Aerys.
Okay.
Possibly was Aerys. That's the rumor. Who is
How,
the Mad King?
So
The Mad King basically raped Tywin's
raped. Okay.
wife.
That's very interesting too. It would make a lot of sense too because you'd think that
That's why Tywin was kind of with Robert in the rebellion. Like, at least was backing him at one point.
At the very end. He
Yeah,
backed
at
him
the
at
very
the
end,
very end
when-
once Baratheon had already basically won.
Won,
The second Robert Baratheon killed Rhaegar, that's when Tywin's like, winner is decided,
Yep.
gonna go sack King's Landing.
Yep. Little
Yeah.
snake.
Yep.
it's a snake in the grass.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, Robert Baratheon is supposedly a Targaryen.
What?
To
oh,
some
yeah,
extent.
yeah, no, yeah. He's the Baratheon line in general.
Yeah, to some
is
extent.
bastard
yeah.
of the Targaryen lineage.
So that's why Gendry
right.
is still a big deal. Like,
He'll ever come back.
yeah, I don't know.
My prediction, I don't know how long we were talking about that. My prediction is that I think Arya is going to, I just really want to, it's not even a prediction, this is what I want to see. I don't care if it happens. I want to see Arya kill Jaime and then as Jaime kill Cersei.
Oh,
Damn.
That would be savage.
That would
be dope.
be hella savage.
that would be ruthless. Hey,
she's
by the way,
disguised.
while we're talking about ruthless kills here, that dungeon scene,
Oh yeah,
holy hell,
the
dude.
sand snakes.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I was watching this Carissa. Carissa was a mess.
Really?
Oh
Damn.
yeah, she was a mess. This entire episode, she was a mess.
Yeah.
This
like
whole
that
episode
handshake
is so good.
with Jorah.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like, because
that
she
was
didn't
such a powerful
understand.
moment.
Yeah, she didn't understand the powerful moment of this, and they like shot his hand pulling out right, and like reaching out for someone, and I was like, it's the first time he's gonna get to touch another human being.
Yep.
yeah.
That's also the,
And she was like, I just see her hand go up, and she are just tears.
yeah.
And then you see that shot afterwards of the significance of him being redeemed physically
Yeah.
and emotionally, and you see that light being draped on him, and I was like, man, woo! This
you
is
think-
powerful.
He will find out the significance of Sam and Jon and like all these relationships once he gets
don't
back
know.
to Daenerys.
I'd really like to see a redemption story with Jorah, dude. I'd like to see him become the Lord of Mormont, like, and like come back to like, because I feel like the Mormont, like that whole family seems just so strong.
Oh, yeah.
So like deep
Totally.
in its values. I mean, you have like Jorah, and then you had his father.
Dior. And then you have the little girl,
Yeah.
Lady Mormont.
I was like, dude, y'all are mean.
Yeah.
Y'all
Y'all
are-
are full of heart.
Yeah, dude, they're just great. I love that family.
A noble line. Jeremy, any theories after this last episode?
I just want to see some ice dragons.
The ice dragon.
So I have
still
a
on
question. Is an ice dragon against the White Walkers or for the White Walkers?
We have no idea.
What are your predictions?
My prediction?
Yeah.
They're against the White Walkers,
I think
or
they're
maybe,
for. I think it's a
or
zombie
maybe the
dragon.
an ice dragon is a White Walker dragon.
God. That's just
Rumor
the
has it
worst.
there's something inside of the wall. Oh, which by the way, I don't know if we ever mentioned this, but Bran was touched by the Night King in his vision, and so when he went back into the cave where the old three-eyed raven was, the magic seal around the cave was broken,
Yeah,
so
no.
the White Walkers could come in.
We talked about this. We talked
Okay,
about this
so
last
Bran,
episode,
you know,
yeah.
walked through the wall, which was protected by magic.
Yep. The significance of that. I feel like maybe they'll touch on it in like some cool sequence.
Do you think
I
the
don't know,
end
dude.
of this season will end with the
the
wall
wall falling?
falling?
I think so.
That'd be such
Damn.
a crazy set piece moment. And then all you hear is like when the credits are rolling, all you hear is just like wind.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
I still think something is inside the wall.
Well,
Do you
I
think-
guess we'll.
Do you think there's something inside of Dragonstone?
I was saying that while they're mining the dragon glass in Dragonstone, maybe they discover more dragon eggs.
Oh, shiznit. That
Dude,
would
if
be
they
nuts.
if they
Yeah.
discover more dragon eggs, dude, cheat code. Cheat code.
Bruh.
Cheat
Damn.
code, cheat code, cheat code.
Now everyone has a dragon. You get a dragon. You get a dragon.
You get
Everybody, dragons everywhere. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
I'm sure we'll touch on Game of Thrones more before the season
Game of Thrones.
season is done. Brianna Forsyth asks, "Why are you guys recording so late?" Haha.
I mean, I think for
You tell us.
a number of reasons.
There are only enough hours in the day.
One, I get off usually late on Mondays. 2. Usually Mondays are days that everyone is here getting work done during the day, except me because I have work. But also, I feel like we kind of don't get to see each other very often, so we kind of like try to shoot the poop shoot.
Okay.
We like to shoot the poop for like an hour or two, and by the time that we realize, like, oh hey guys, it's hella late. We should definitely record now.
Yep. That
So,
pretty
yeah,
much
that's
covers
the
it.
answer.
And then she also asks, for real, what are your guys' go-to feel-good movies that you keep going back to no matter how many times you've seen it?
Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Easy.
Yep.
Wait, what was the question? So one more time.
Favorite feel-good movie?
Favorite feel-good movie? Oh man, I don't have like any feel-good movies.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Sunshine.
I was gonna
12
be like,
Years of Slave.
I was about to be like, Big Fish. Nope. Saving Private Ryan. Nope.
Hocus Pocus, though. You like
Inter-
Hocus-
Oh,
Interstellar.
Hocus Pocus by
yeah.
far, dude. Dude, no.
Hook?
Hook, dude. Hook and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
I could probably recite that entire script.
That movie, oh, yeah. I've seen that movie so many times.
I love that movie. Dude. Oh, and mostly Christmas movies for me.
Yeah.
Elf.
I was gonna say Elf.
Elf. Oh, Christmas Story. You shoot your eye
Yeah.
out, kid.
Home Alone. I
Alone.
mean, that's not really a feel-good movie. That's more of just
It is.
a fun
The End.
comedy.
Yo, The End.
Oh yeah, that.
Yo,
Yeah.
John Candy is in that movie.
Inside
That's a
Out.
good movie.
I love Inside
Dude,
Out.
Inside Out.
Anything
is,
Pixar.
Yeah,
dude,
anything.
Inside
Pixar.
Out is heavy though.
It
Yeah.
is really heavy.
Dude,
It's pretty heavy.
Every Pixar movie is heavy in some way.
Dude, yeah. That movie's heavy, man. I can't. Sometimes
Yeah.
there are some days where I cannot
Bing Bong
handle a
scene?
Pixar movie right now.
Bing
Yeah.
Bong scene.
Oh,
I never thought I
R.I.P.
would cry about a pink elephant that does dolphin cries.
Dude, not even just that, man. Like that part. Yeah, I can't talk about it.
It's
I'm good.
Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon.
All right, so are you guys familiar with the Skrulls in the Marvel Universe?
Not super familiar.
No,
We're talking
I'm
about
not.
Elder Scrolls.
No, not that.
like, Elder Scrolls?
The Elder Scrolls,
You
Morrowind.
familiar with the scrolls, the
s-
Elder Scrolls.
The Elder Scrolls. You're just like, why are you saying scrolls like that? Scrolls. So no. So there's a race of aliens called the Skrulls. Skrulls.
Wait, that's not how you spell it.
What?
Scrolls.
Okay. So Skrull. Skrull. Skrull.
Scroll.
Skrull. God damn it. They're aliens.
Scroll. Yeah.
Okay,
Stanley
so
had a
anywho,
cameo with him in
The Skulls.
All right. I'm
In
done with
whatever.
you.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah,
Volume 2.
So
Guardians 2.
they revealed the Skrull and the Super Skrull. There you go. That's what they look like.
Oh, YOLO Burger. What it? He looks like Green Goblin.
He does kind of look like Green Goblin. Yeah, they kind of look Green
Green
Goblin-esque.
Gob,
So,
dude.
so basically, the deal with the Skrulls are they're basically like aliens who can shapeshift and like
Oh!
look like people.
I do know about these guys.
Yeah. You've definitely heard of them.
No, I
it's
do know about
it's
these
how
guys.
Marvel has copped out on a lot of
Yep.
storylines and changing characters, or someone dies and like,
Yeah.
oh, they find out they were a clone or they were a Skrull the whole time.
Oh.
So,
Good idea.
Ismahawk fan art at Ismahawk fan art says or asks, after seeing the Skrull concept art for Captain Marvel, do you think there's a Marvel character who has been a Skrull the entire time, based off of their behavior?
Entire time?
Yeah,
Based
someone
off of
who
their
is
behavior.
someone who is an alien who is basically in the form of a human.
Loki.
I don't think so.
Probably not. That's the first thing that came to my head, though.
So I think it was
What character is the
Black
least
Widow.
developed?
Black Widow. You think that Black Widow might be a Skrull?
Maybe.
I really don't know who could
neither.
possibly be.
I don't think so. I don't
I don't
think
think
anyone.
anyone.
I thought it was an interesting question to see if anybody.
Yeah.
In
Usually. Oh wow.
Dude, it sounds like. Oh, it sounds like the Soldier 76 move when he tries to melee. Scroll.
Oh, okay.
I like that. That's fun.
I don't think anyone is a scroll just because most, or all of the characters, main heroes we've seen so far, has had their backstories explained, or like they had a driving, motivating force for them to do their mission.
Mm-hmm.
Like characters who usually turn out like that in regular storytelling, I guess, modern movie making. You don't explain their backstory, you just explain their motivations, and you don't show their backstory. But we've seen pretty much everyone's backstories so far.
If they really want to kick the audience in the pants, they'll make Iron Man a Skrull, which has been done in the comics in the past.
I don't
So-
think they would do that in the movie.
I don't know. I don't know if they would do that either. But if Robert Downey Jr. is like, "Hey, I'm sick of making millions and millions and millions of dollars. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of
but
cameoing in a
Kevin
movie."
Feige is not in the business of pissing people off.
Have you seen Iron Man 3? There's a
No.
lot of people who are not stoked about that.
True.
That wasn't intentionally pissing people off, just because, like, making a character a Skrull as a cop out is different than making a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they
Interesting.
intended it to be a good movie.
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
turn
sure they
out that
thought
way.
that a lot of people would have loved that twist. And for the most part, I think a lot of people were fine with it. But then there were a lot of people who were like, "What did you do?"
I mean, there's always going to be the vocal people, and then the people who are just, yeah, whatever. You know, that was a cool movie. And then they
Hashtag
don't say
whatevs.
anything.
Hashtag whatevs. Yeah.
Cool background.
Thanks, man.
What is that?
It's Bakugo from My Hero Academia. You probably can't see this, but here it is. You guys watch My Hero Academia. If you like superheroes and you like anime, it's both of those, and it's great.
Danny likes both of those things, so that's perfect for Danny.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, it's kind of like the X-Men in anime format.
Dame.
It's fantastic. CJ at James Lucy
What it do, baby boo?
asks, breakfast for dinner or faster for Dawnbreaker?
Breakfast for dinner.
What?
What does that mean, CJ?
Faster for Dawnbreaker. I don't understand what that means. I'm trying to like break it down in my skull.
Same.
My scroll.
Breakfast for dinner all the time. Breakfast for any meal.
Breakfast all the time.
Yeah.
Breakfast FT dubs.
Dude, breakfast is bomb. I haven't had real breakfast in like 2 months.
Damn, man.
But what about second breakfast or luncheon?
I don't think he knows about second breakfast.
Requiem for a Dream.
Why?
Would you ever want to do
flip you
a
off.
Ninja Turtles fan film or minute matchup? Asks Nightflash217.
Hell yeah, if we had the budget.
Right? Yeah. In a perfect world, yes, we would have already done it.
Yes, if we had a budget.
To be fair, we've talked about Ninja Turtles in the past.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like
We're just we can't do that.
we're just like, do we get guys in suits, or do we do them
do it?
CG? What do we do? How do we
it's
do it?
tricky, guys.
CG, but make the CG look like guys in
Dude,
suits.
that's what like I want to talk about that for a second, dude, because everybody hates on the way that the Ninja Turtles look in the new Ninja Turtles series. I freaking like it, man.
Me too,
Like-
dude. I
like,
really
I don't
dig
understand what's everybody's qualms with it. It looks like it's on steroids, man. Like,
I think it's just the face. If the facial features are a little more friendly or closer to the cartoon, I think everything would be fine.
I
Agreed.
understand. No, I totally understand where you're
They're
coming
too
from, but it's
human.
like they're too human looking.
They're too human. They're too human, and
I like their look. It's grown on me. But like
yeah.
at this point, if we were to do it, I think the CG would still you'd still have the realism and the overall body design, but just change the face and the eyes a bit.
I would not do a Ninja Turtle movie the way that they've done Ninja Turtles movies in the past.
How
Like-
would you do a Ninja Turtle movie?
How would I do a Ninja Turtles movie? I would make it dark while still being inviting for younger viewers. Dark but not ultra violent. It would focus on the Ninja Turtles, not on April, not on any other character. The humans would be side characters. The Ninja Turtles would be the main characters.
Yeah. Pull a Planet of the Apes on them.
Yeah, it would be, and it also would be a more serious story that's taken more seriously, and but still like Captain America: Civil War. If you're looking for tone, like a movie that has dark elements to it, but is still fun and friendly, and has super intense, dope ass action. I would make it opt for a PG-13. If I could get rated R, I think I would. I would make
The OG comics
Interesting.
were pretty mature.
the
Yeah.
OG comics were mature as hell.
Yeah.
They were super
Most comics
violent.
were pretty mature.
Dude, and I think in one of the
What are you talking about?
comics,
Comics for kids, and so are video games.
in one of the issues of Ninja Turtles, Donatello dies.
Yeah.
He dies.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
killed him.
Yeah, I
they
know.
killed Donatello. They killed the Ninja
I remember
Turtle.
the uproar.
Would you
Yes.
do that in the movie?
I wouldn't kill Donatello. I wouldn't kill any of them.
If you had a,
Donatello.
if you had a trilogy, like would you like end it with like would you have a
Like one complete trilogy arc.
See, the fanboy in me is like, you can't kill Donatello. But the
Game
filmmaker
of
in me
Thrones
is like,
you?
people wouldn't see that coming. People,
What if it
Your mind-
wasn't
your mind is
Donatello?
telling
What
you
if
no,
it
but
was
your
someone
body
else?
is telling you yeah.
I would introduce other characters, and I think I'd kill them off for sure.
Like what kill off Casey Jones?
I would kill off Casey Jones. I'd hella
Heck yeah.
kill Casey Jones.
Same.
His death would be a glorious one.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I'll play Casey.
And
You'd kill it. You would kill it.
yeah,
Yeah, we kill you.
No, we would not.
So if we were gonna make a Ninja Turtles fan film,
Dude, I'm already looking into like motion capture and virtual camera operation and stuff like that. So
like what if we made costumes? Not made. I mean, obviously we had budget. We made like real costumes, but then we enhanced them with CGI.
I think that's
So, like,
the best way to do it.
Like it's guys in suits, but
two brothers.
we have like we animate the faces, we clean
Yeah.
up the seams, all that stuff is in CG. So it still they look more organic, but
Right.
they still it's
I'd
still
have
real.
I'd have suits on set. The way I would do it is with the realistic textures, but the active mocap IR
Mocap.
sensors.
Yeah.
But still have full CG characters. It's just there for reference. The
Dude,
suit
you're
on set.
totally Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Totally
I mean,
Planet of the Apes. Like,
dude, yeah, and the Ninja Turtles are the main characters. No human lead characters.
Nope.
Humans are the side characters.
Yep.
Like War of the Planet of the Apes. Maybe if it was a trilogy, we could start out with a human lead, but I wouldn't want to, and eventually replace it with the Ninja Turtles as the leads. Because, dude, like, do you realize War for the Planet of the Apes is the most recent movie in modern and recent blockbusters where it wasn't a human lead?
yeah, that was also Dawn, wasn't it?
Well,
there was
no.
kind of a human lead in Dawn. I mean,
No, there's definitely a human lead in Dawn, but they
So
decided
War
to just
for the
go
Planet of the
straight
Apes
up,
is
straight up just Caesar.
Caesar.
As the lead.
no other human
Yeah,
hero.
I haven't seen it yet.
like
I just see Dunkirk
See?
first. Sorry. Saying.
yeah. With the Ninja Turtles, they definitely need to be the leads. No, like following Casey Jones as the lead, and then have
And
the
Raphael's
ninjas-
got to be the main character.
I was going to ask you which character would you follow?
Raphael.
The most.
Raphael's the most dynamic character out of all of them. Every single one of them is one-dimensional besides Raphael. He's got demons that he needs to work out. He needs to figure out. He needs to understand his place in the team. He wants to be a leader, but he's too hot-headed. Like, he's got an arc. Leonardo, he's the leader. He's a like that character knows what he wants to do, and he knows who he is. And his conflict comes in butting heads with Raphael because they're both sort of the most physically adept and dominating for, sort of like clashing for power.
I think his growth or Raphael's growth would be him coming to that realization and growing personally himself, and then Donatello. No, not Donatello.
Leonardo.
Yeah.
Leonardo. His character arc and his growth would be his realization in his conflict, resolving the conflict between him and Raphael.
And him embracing the leadership position, and Raphael supporting Leo in the
Totally.
leadership position.
The way they did it in Young Justice Season 2, which you haven't seen, the dichotomy between Nightwing and Aqualad is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliantly
Super good.
done.
Super good.
Because, well, spoiler for you. I mean,
All of it's been spoiled for me.
yeah.
I know, thank.
Robin was the lead on the team, and he was always thinking, "Oh, I'm the lead. I need to be the leader. Need to step up for everyone." But he wasn't fit for the job in season 1. And as the season went on, Aqualad took the job, and even though he didn't want to, so
He said he would keep it warm for Robin
yeah.
until Robin was ready to take it from him.
And the way that arc played out was brilliant. And it's a kids show. Kids show.
Dude, oh my God. Oh, dude, so good.
I think the best way to accomplish a Ninja Turtles movie is to make sure that the turtles are the focal point and make sure that we focus on the four of them each having an arc.
Yeah.
Like Michelangelo.
What if Mikey got killed,
Dude,
not Donnie?
like, okay. Huh.
Mikey's like not the fan favorite, but he's like the most innocent one, I guess you could say.
I was gonna say, like how Jon Snow just got thrown in the leadership position, even though he didn't want it.
Yeah.
And he literally
Came
just
upon him.
trying his best with what he's given right now. What's on his plate? I'm just trying to do this, dude.
So that's how Leo should be for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think every character needs to have their own arc. I think Mikey starts off immature and understands the importance and the value of like taking things a little bit more seriously. He can still have fun with it, but that's his arc. Donatello's arc is maybe Donatello is arrogant. Maybe he's so smart that he thinks that he's smarter than the rest of the characters, than his brothers. And that has caused Donatello to make mistakes because he's not working as a team player either. I mean, maybe not entirely because that's very much Raph's arc, but like maybe his intelligence, like what makes these characters who they are, maybe they need to learn how to. Because you can't just be silly and love pizza.
Yeah, so what if Donatello, thinking he's so smart, he's a little jaded at times, pretty grounded, and Mikey is the one who's like happy and fun and tries to bring up the team, and he gets mad at him for, like, they butt heads just because they're so different emotionally most of the time, and their personalities are just different. And through that journey, somehow, like, if Mikey dies, that would help him realize, oh shit, maybe I am, like, I shouldn't be this way all the time. Like, the point of their existence, and this can also be another theme with them, like, struggling with why they exist or why they are the way they are in this human's world, figure out or realize that it's not just about what you know, it's how you, like, what you do with it and how you live your life.
How you live with your brothers and enjoy life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your responsibility to other people around you.
It could be interesting because we could also have, like, every one of the turtles should have a different relationship with their brothers.
Yeah.
So, like, I think Donnie and Leo would probably get along the best.
Yeah.
They would get along and they would communicate well with one another.
Yeah.
And then, like, Mikey and Raph would communicate a little bit better than, let's say, Raph and Leo.
Yeah.
And then maybe Raph kind of almost talks down to Donnie because Donnie is a nerd in his opinion.
You know what? I was just watching a video from Lessons from the Screenplay on Inside Out, and the dichotomy and the foil of how you can show a character's growth, like the main character's growth, through the other people's personalities. And the character, and if you guys don't know, Inside Out explores different emotions inside a kid's brain. So the main character is Joy, and each emotion has their own character. And Joy is always happy. Like, everyone is their character or their emotion, basically. And Joy's always happy, and she's always trying to make things fun and uplifting and positive, right? But as Pete Docter, the director, was exploring, you know, who he should pair it up with and how he can show what challenges Joy has, he realized he wanted to explore fear. Like, he wanted Joy and Fear to be the ones who are paired together and going through their journey. But then when they got to the storyboard, they were like, but what am I going to do with Fear? I don't know where to go with this. Because the reason he chose Fear in the first place was because when he was a kid, he was always afraid of everything, and he was shy and not outgoing at all, so he wanted to explore fear. But then after a while of, like, being stressed out and struggling with trying to figure out where this movie is going to go, took a walk in the woods and started asking tough questions. And he was like, you know what? Maybe it's not about joy and fear together. Maybe you need to explore sadness, because you need sadness to know what joy is.
Polar opposites.
Yeah. And so the way that he figured out what Joy's character is like, he started asking questions about why Joy acts the way she does, even though it's just one emotion, joy. And the way that he kind of pushed that point forward was give her a defense mechanism. Like, whenever something goes wrong, whenever she's super stressed, what's her reaction? Try and make everything happy. And sometimes that doesn't work, you know? And I'm sure you guys know in real life that doesn't always work. You can't just force happiness into everything. And so through, especially the scene with Bing Bong, when Bing Bong lost his rocket down into the chasm, the memory dump, he was very sad and depressed, and Joy was trying to get him to be, like, forcing happiness into him, like, oh, like, that sucks, but we gotta get going, you know, get to the mission. So Joy and Sadness both had a mission. They needed to get to the train, right? Bing Bong was the only person who knew where the train was, where the train station was. So this was a super important scene to show how two different characters with two different perspectives make their own choices. Joy was trying to force happiness and try to, you know, kind of like telling Bing Bong to cheer up. You don't just do that. And so, but Sadness' approach, her approach was to sit down and just listen to him and, you know, empathize with him. Let him cry it out for a sec. And then he was fine, and they left. And that showed Joy, you know what, maybe my belief system was not what I thought it was. And that's the important thing. At the beginning of the movie, you need to have the audience sympathize with the main character and believe in their belief system, so that when it comes to a point where you need to show character growth, people, the audience who had believed in the main character's belief system, start questioning their own belief system and be like, you know what, maybe this isn't right. Maybe Sadness is right in her approach. So with Raphael and Donatello, if Raph is going to be the main character, we should solidify his belief system with the audience and have them follow his point of view first, and have a situation where, okay, his belief system works for him here, and so we start believing ourselves and associating our belief system with his. So when the moment comes when Donatello and Raphael, no, Leo and Raph, butt heads, and they get to a situation where they both have the same goal, but they both approach it a different way, Raph needs to fail in that regard and have Leo succeed in his way to show Raph.
Have the audience question their...
Yeah, exactly. Like, have the audience grow and realize the same thing that Raph is realizing in that moment, too.
And then we need to watch Leo fail later on and watch what Raph does. Raph learned from his own mistake.
Exactly.
And then was able to, basically able to overcome his own, whatever his own...
biggest obstacle. End of Act 2.
And this is in Act 3. He overcomes that obstacle and saves the day. Because we're watching things from Raph's perspective.
Yeah.
So in Act 2, he needs to fail.
Yeah.
And then Leo needs to succeed, but they need to fail together. They all need to fail together.
Yes.
Because the turtles are a unit.
Yep.
And if one of them fails, if they don't work as a team, then they will fail. Like, Ninja Turtles should feel like an Avengers movie or Guardians of the Galaxy. Not like as like them coming together for the first time, but in their teamwork and them coming together and fighting a common enemy. And if they don't work together, if the brothers don't work together, then they will indefinitely
So I think
fail.
whatever it is Raph and Leo's obstacle is, it should be a common enemy, physical enemy and approach, or mindset-wise. But Mikey's character arc should be an emotional one, even if it's just a small one, like on the side. A small emotional arc that is connected to all of the rest of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So that his death will mean something to us as an audience when we realize, oh shit, Raph failed this, like, we're following his perspective. So if he failed this mission at the end of Act 2 and he realized it's not wrong, maybe that failure leads to Mikey's death.
Dang.
Damn.
And
we need
so
to make
as
sure
a team, they have to like pull together and realize.
And all the characters need to be, we need to make sure that every single one of them is likable in their own way, even if they butt heads with each other. We want our audience to be completely split on who they think is right. There should be people who think Raph is right and people who think Leo's right and people who think Mikey's right and people who think Donnie's right. And they all like, that's the beauty of it, is that it's not black and white, it's gray. You can't,
it's
like,
always great. So
it's got to be gray.
Here's the thing. Do you want all of the characters to be super likable right off the bat? Because that doesn't create any kind of conflict. So, okay, so real quick, on the same video, when explaining the structure of Inside Out, when Pete Docter and his creative team was first brainstorming Inside Out, the whole movie and the arc, they made Joy the complete opposite of her emotion. Joy, who's controlling Riley, the kid's Joy, happy emotion, Joy was actually really vengeful and resentful and angry a lot of time to kind of like play the opposite of what her actual emotion is, and everyone else is also the opposite of their own emotion. But then she just came off as mean and annoying. So to remedy that, they stuck with her actual emotion, joy, and just happy all the time, and in turn made sadness as annoying as they can make her, so that the audience can sympathize with joy first, and then through the journey start sympathizing with sadness.
I don't think that that's the right way to tell this story. That's the right way to tell the story with a main character and a supporting character. But this is, when you're dealing with Ninja Turtles, you're dealing with 4 characters who all need to be relatively likable. And that's like, I would throw it to like Guardians of the Galaxy, where all 5 of the Guardians are likable, even if they didn't.
In their own way.
In their own way.
Yeah.
There's like, yeah, they're all flawed, and like, you're like, oh, fuck, stop that. Stop doing what you're doing. And start playing nice with others, you know? And that's what I think, that's how I think it should be here, where, you know, your Raphael is kind of like Rocket, misunderstood. And we can see that he's misunderstood. You can see that this character is in pain, even if he's angry. So, like, the Inside Out approach, I think, is an excellent approach when creating for that story. But for this story, I don't even think Guardians is a good example, because they're not brothers. You know?
True.
Yeah.
Like, brothers.
I mean, I've got a brother, and I'm very close with my brother. So I think everybody here has brothers in this table.
Two brothers.
Two brothers. So,
Two brothers.
like, I imagine how me and my brother's relationship is. And me and my brother, like, growing up, we didn't always get along. We fought all the time growing up. But at the end of the day, we always had each other's backs. No one messed with my brother, and no one messed with me because of my brother. Like, we always had each other's backs. And that is how I would write this story.
Totally.
That's how I would
want to see Leo and Raph, like, butting heads, like, about, maybe not even about to fight, but, like, they are in direct conflict with each other, and then, like, the Foot Clan show up, and then they, like, start facing off against other people because they're on the same team. They're just having disagreements right now.
Leo gets hurt, or Leo gets knocked out, or Leo gets captured, and then that's when Raphael, you see that Raphael's like, nobody touches my brother, and like just starts wrecking fools. Like, nobody hits my brother except for me.
Yeah.
and that's when you see it. Like, that's what I want. I want to see brothers fighting for one another.
Yeah.
I want to see brothers fighting each other with love.
With love.
That's what I want. That's the kind of movie I would make.
So, what question are you trying to answer? Because you just drew on your own personal experience to imbue into this writing process for this movie.
Yeah.
So, there's an age-old kind of like saying in the film industry, or in any kind of storytelling, is you write what you know.
Yeah, of course.
But people are starting to question that saying you should, like, if you write what you know, then everyone's going to write. Like, there's no growth, no personal growth in you doing this.
Yeah.
So I think, at least from Every Frame a Painting, or Lessons from the Screenplay, he suggested the question should be, or the saying should be, write what you want to know. So instead of writing, like, for example, you know your relationship with your brother, and that's the kind of movie that you want to write with these brothers in the Ninja Turtles.
Sure.
So, if you take a step back, what if something changes? What questions do you start asking about your relationship with your brother, and then start trying to answer that?
I don't exactly look at it that way. For me personally, the way that I look at it is that first of all, me and my brother have multiple different facets of our relationship. Sometimes we're like Mikey and Donnie. Sometimes we're like Raph and Leo. Sometimes we're like Donnie and Leo. Sometimes we're like Donnie and Raph. Like, we are. That is kind of the interesting thing about this story, is that I feel like I'm taking from my own experiences, but it's not as simple as just that because I'm not a giant mutant turtle. And like there are different challenges that would be there. But also at the same time, we literally came up with this concept during the podcast. This has not been talked about beforehand. So if you're asking me to create a cohesive Ninja Turtles movie,
No, this is
You're
good.
crazy.
These
in
are
15 minutes.
These are the questions you should be answering, and this is the thought process.
You don't know the answer, Sway.
You don't know the answers.
You ain't got the answers. Anyway, no, this is important because you guys out there who are budding filmmakers, this is what the process should be like.
Yeah.
You should be asking questions and exploring things, I guess.
I think stories, like that's great for personal growth and all that. And I think that is important questions that you should ask. But also writing what you know allows you to put a level of passion
Yes, you
and
do
emotion.
write what you know.
So,
you
I've-
still write what you know, but you need to ask questions
I
about
have
what
something
you know.
to say. So as of now, I'm working on like novels that I would like to release throughout my lifetime. One is about the job that I've had for the last 3 years and the culture and the incredibleness that it is. But it would be almost like West Wing meets The Social Network combined into one, or like the West Wing or the Newsroom
In what
meets
way?
the Social Network. So like
Writing
a show,
style?
writing style. So
Aaron Sorkin.
yeah, Aaron Sorkin,
Yeah.
fast paced, really fun, really cool, really quick cuts, awesome dialogue.
Everyone's speaking very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then I also have like a passion project that's like almost like Forrest Gump in a way, but not as fictional, like based off of actual true events that's happened based on my uncle. So, but then I also have another one that I'm writing about an elite team of like Marines have been sent out by the CIA for a ghost project that they need to get into and infiltrate this cartel. But something happens, someone goes rogue, and they have to jump into this ranch, and this young white man gets acquainted to this really awesome Mexican older gentleman who saves his life and is thrusted into this amazing culture and somehow becomes this surrogate son to this Mexican rancher who turns out to be the guy who is going against. He's like his own like personal police, like the citizens' police going against the cartel, and he falls in love with this culture, and he then becomes like this really cool guy that tries to save this family who's getting now terrorized by the cartel. So,
Whoa.
I have no idea where that came from, but I also know where like my uncle's story comes from. So it's like I kind of
You're trying both.
yeah. So like I understand where like I know like write what you know comes from, but I also think there comes a time where you come across something in your head as a creator that you have to create regardless of if you know it. And I don't know
Well,
if
that's
it's
how you
gonna
grow.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's gonna work out. Like if I release this novel in the next 5 years, people are like, "Oh man, that first novel came out, dope. This one, hated it. Hated that. Don't do that again."
See,
So
there's a difference between creating a world for your story and establishing it in a way where you don't know what's going to happen, or it's just a brand new universe that has never existed before, like Lord of the Rings, for example. That world, or Middle Earth, it just existed, but like not in the way that Tolkien wrote it. But when he wrote the relationship between these characters, he needs to base it on something he knows so that
Exactly.
the audience can connect to it, you know?
In my story development class back in college, one of the things we had to do was we had to go up in a class. No one was allowed to film anything that was going on. No one was actually even allowed to talk about anything that happened in this class. Because what happened in this class was we went up in front of the class and we told our deepest, darkest, most fucked up secrets ever.
Yeah.
And we told them to each other in story format. And we told stories to one
I
another.
also took that class.
It's hardcore, isn't it?
It's hardcore.
Did you take it with May? Who was your teacher?
Clarence?
Oh, okay.
Gilliard.
Yeah, I had Mark May, which is why he's to this day my favorite professor. Like this guy's so hardcore. He
Dang.
knows what he's talking about, and like everything I know about story and story structure is because of this dude. And I credit him with a lot of like a lot of the education I had was from listening to this man. So he was talking about reaching like your emotional core and stuff like that. And at the base of every story is our own like emotion and humanity. He always said, one thing that he always said was, we don't make motion pictures, we make emotion pictures. And if you're not telling a story that is charged by some form of emotion, then your story isn't gonna sell. It's not gonna land. It's not gonna resonate with people. And like one of the new project that we wrote, that we're gonna be shooting in a few weeks, I wrote that for my mom. Like that was a super important plot point that I wanted to include in the story, because the nature of the story is like unlike anything that actually happens in my life or in the real world, but the concept of what happens is
Emotional
something.
connection should still be familiar.
Yeah, the emotional connection is. I mean, if you guys read that story, it's like it's my personality just kind of splattered on this world. So
you know what? It's something, and it's not just us spewing this information out. This is how stories are told for anyone. If you take any major action blockbuster movie, what are the common things that you're going to see among all of them? Something about family, something about relationships, something...
achieving your dreams, love, sex, survival.
Yeah, love, sex, and survival. All of them. Three, like, the basic needs of everyone.
Sort of the pillars of story development, pillars of like
because
your
that's
character's
something
needs.
everyone can connect to. Big action blockbusters, they don't have a lot of time to have a lot of story development and character development like they want an action blockbuster, you know? A lot of big set piece moments and action scenes. But there's still a plot, like however simple it is, there's still some kind of plot. There's a start and an end. And there's always one thing that's common among all of them. It's like either a relationship or something with family, you know? Love, sex, and survival.
Yep.
That's the...
Because everyone
or
can
all
connect
three
to
of
it.
them.
Yeah. Well, that's at the core of humanity. And again, this is taught in film school.
Yeah.
The core of humanity, or even any sort of primal being, any sort of living being on this planet is driven by three key emotions: love, sex, or survival. And then there are subcategories that go through love, sex, and survival.
Yeah.
So like, what is your character in pursuit of? What are they fighting for? What are they fighting against? Is it to fight for their own survival? Is it to fight for the love of their family or the love of someone they want to be in a relationship with? Or sex? I mean, just as simple as sex.
Yeah.
So it's super,
That's one of the things that they teach you as an actor.
yeah.
Storytelling.
What's your
101.
intention?
Ismahawk style.
What's your intention?
Should we answer another question? We got lost in the weeds on that Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles
Yeah.
question.
Let's ask
Well,
let's answer
it's
another
an
one.
important question.
I actually don't know if this is a joke question or if it's actually serious, but Joe Balls 187 asks, "How do you know what to do?" No punctuation.
Step 1. Have I done this before? And then that breaks out from there. If I haven't done it before, Google it.
I look at myself
If
in
I
the
haven't,
face in the
if
mirror.
I have done it before, what did I do wrong? Can I fix it? There you go.
So, okay. I was going to do the Dwight Schrute monologue from The Office where he's like...
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
No, he's like, I look at myself in the mirror every single day and I ask myself, would a dumb person do this? And if the answer is yes, I don't do that thing.
That's solid. Better than mine.
That's solid advice.
That is
Office.
solid logic.
like-
Yep.
Would a dumb person do this?
Before I do anything ever, I ask myself one question: would a dumb person do this thing? And if the answer to the question is yes, I do not do that thing.
All right. John Gonzalez on Face of the Book. That's a very important question. Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
I feel it now, Mr. Krabs.
I'm feeling it now, Mr. Krabs.
Tony, can you answer this question for us, please? He's asking all of us, not just three of us.
All right.
Dead air.
Let it be on record that Tony refused to answer your question, John Gonzalez.
Let the record show, Your Honor, that
handle the truth.
that the witness is refusing to answer my question.
Oh, let's see.
In a different life, I was a lawyer. In a
Okay.
different life, I was a lawyer.
I wish I could have seen that live.
Probably wouldn't like you very
Geronimo.
much.
That's a dope name.
It is.
What's his name?
Geronimo.
Geronimo.
I could
friggin'
be
dope,
pronouncing
dude.
it wrong, but it's I apologize if I do. What about Dunkirk? Any thoughts on the new film of Nolan? Hashtag in Nolan we
Man,
trust.
we just had a whole conversation on Dunkirk just yesterday.
Yep. No, it was probably earlier today, wasn't it? Or no, it was yesterday.
Yeah,
What
it was
is
We've
time
been talking
now?
about Dunkirk pretty consistently
Yeah.
since we all watched it.
Yeah.
Wait, when did you see it?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah, we saw it yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
All my troubles seem so hard.
What'd you think, Tony? What'd you think of Dunkirk?
Oh, wow.
To preface, you are a World War II facts enthusiast.
This is I actually said it to a I was talking at someone.
I was talking at somebody.
I was talking at someone. They were just standing there, and they did not really.
They were standing there
acknowledge
and they
me.
were crying.
All right.
So
Great start to the story.
So I was at work and I was talking to someone about this specific subject, and I said I really enjoyed the fact that we got to see a side of World War II that is kind of lost on our society and culture, and that is the British side. For whatever reason, the Brits are like this anchor that kept like Western civilization afloat.
Yeah.
Like they really did. And I feel like everybody likes to say, "Oh, the Americans saved the war." Guys, we did not save the war. We didn't do it. It was the Russians and it was the Brits. That's who it was. Because they just were straight up like, well, if we don't win, everyone's going to die. Everyone. So we have to win. And people are like, well, how are we going to do it? I don't know. We're going to do it, though.
Because I don't want to die.
Because I don't want to die. Yeah. Because I'm
Do
scared.
you think Dunkirk showed that well?
And that they showed the British side of it, because for whatever reason, there just hasn't been a lot of I guess that I'm trying to explain this well. We haven't seen that side of World War II. We've seen the German side, we've seen the Russian side, we've seen the American and how the American civil society felt about our boys having to go overseas and fight these crazy people. But we never got to see something like Dunkirk from a British point of view. And there was a lot of very interesting scenes where it's like you see a scene where they come back and they finally get out of Dunkirk. It's like, oh yeah, you see that guy, he wouldn't even look us in the face. And it's like, no, man. He's a World War I veteran and he's blind. And he's sitting there giving you blankets. And they asked him, what are you talking
Spoiler alert for Dunkirk.
I mean, they all lived.
Just for the record, spoiler alert for Dunkirk.
Most of them lived. Just heads up. A lot of them died. But
Hey,
yeah.
just don't want to spoil it for them. Some people don't know the history behind it.
Okay. Look it up. So I can't remember what I was going to say.
You were saying that
Oh, no, it's not important.
the
It's
British
fine.
side.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed. That was something that I really enjoyed. I think it was a very stressful movie overall.
Quite tense.
Yeah,
I mean, any war movie is stressful.
I still think that Interstellar takes the cake for Nolan's most stressful films by far. Nah, not by far, but by a good amount. That was very stressful. I'm not a big fan of space. That's just me. I would never want to be out there. I'm good. I'll stay
Okay.
here.
You've been there once. That's fine.
Yeah, I've been there once.
Been there, done that.
Been
Not
there,
for me.
done that. Not for me. I'm good. I'll pass. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it mostly. Mostly enjoyed it. There were a lot of scenes where I was like, man, this is dark. Woo!
Yeah. Some heavy moments.
I
in
liked
there.
how Nolan didn't try to outwardly. He didn't like to outwardly position anything with dialogue. He tried to show.
Yeah.
Very visceral.
Yeah, and it was. Nolan is like a master at that. So I'm just trying to get there. Trying to get
Those practical effects,
yeah.
though.
Yeah. See, I like that there wasn't a lot of dialogue. You just saw, you showed instead of told, which is fine. It's just a different kind of movie.
Totally.
I personally felt at least the first act was a little incomplete, and
I understand where you're coming from.
technically incomplete. There wasn't things. My suspension of disbelief was broken, basically, because if you, at the beginning of the movie, what's his name, was running through or walking through the streets with his squad, and then all of them got gunned down, and he was booking it, right? But no one made a sound. No one said anything. and he didn't seem like he was just scared out of his mind. It was just like, which, granted, if you were trying to show the side of war where these boys have been in the war for a while now, and this is just another day, and they're like, you know what, if you die, you die, you know, and like I've accepted my fate, and now we're just waiting to go home, you know.
Well,
but if you wanted to tell the story that way, you needed to show what happened beforehand, or like how they were before. Like it wasn't always like this. You know, they were actually scared for a bit, but then eventually they just got kind of used to this war around them.
I wonder if he shot anything and just didn't.
I'm sure there was plenty of footage that they used.
It's just the shortest movie.
Yeah.
Which there was a one take that I was waiting for that they released as like a teaser.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And
the
that
one
was
with Tom Hardy and his engine.
No, it wasn't that one. It was with James McAvoy. There was a James McAvoy one take, yeah, and it was sensational.
It was in the movie?
James McAvoy was in Dunkirk.
I thought this was a one take for Dunkirk. I'm almost certain that it was.
It wasn't like Trainspotting 2 or something?
No, this was World War. This is a World War II film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they were on Dunkirk. I thought I got mixed up with a different film.
So another aspect that I thought was incomplete was the sound design on the beach in Act 1, where you see the German bombers flying overhead and everyone just kind of looks up and ducks down. You tell me 400,000 people on the beach didn't make a single sound, like no one in the distance was shouting out enemy bombs or enemy planes, you know, shouting in the distance, letting everyone know. And when bombs were being dropped on them like fish in a barrel, they didn't like make any sounds when they were hit. Like no voices, and it wasn't a thing where they were shell shocked, so the audience was perspective, kind of in Saving Private Ryan, where you couldn't hear anything because the bomb blew next to you. But
it was in third. Yeah, there should have been some kind of.
But
yeah,
there was sound design. You can hear their clothes rustling. You can hear their guns, you know, and their helmets moving around and stuff. There's Foley sound design in it, but no one made a single noise.
Do you think
so that's why, to me, it felt incomplete.
Do you think that he tried to do that to play it up later on? You see what I'm saying? Like he tried to keep it calm in the beginning and play up the stress.
But he threw us right into the middle of the war.
Of course.
And it's
stressful. That's the tricky part about war films.
Yeah.
How do you lead up to something?
If you wanted, like, I totally get the fact that if you want to have silence have an impact, you need to have loudness. Like, you need to have your mountains to experience your valleys. You need peaks.
No, yeah,
and dips,
I totally agree.
You know?
I think,
but there was only a dip that you jumped.
Well, there was just one.
Well, yeah.
This is what it did.
I will say though, the sound design for all of the German bombers was insane.
Yeah,
like anytime they were flying in, it's roaring in your ears, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Oh yeah, no, they used different kinds of engines, and it was scary.
Yeah,
the Luftwaffe was terrifying.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were terrifying.
Yep. That tank
so
and
the
Fury.
sound design. Oh yeah, that too. See, I liked just so you know, I liked the movie. It was definitely a very auteur movie, and it's a different kind of filmmaking. So if you guys don't know that going into it, now you know.
Yeah, no, heads up, guys. It's
a different kind of movie.
Yeah, it reminded me of a French film. That's what it reminded me of, like a French indie film.
Yeah, French expressionism.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. That's why I think. That's why I wasn't surprised. Like, because I went into this knowing that this was going to look a certain way. And if for whatever reason in the back of my mind, I was thinking that if this turns out to be like Nolan right out of college, then I'm going to be okay with it. Because, like, have you ever seen The Following? Mm-hmm. The Following is very auteur. Like, you're just like, what is happening?
I haven't seen The Following.
It's very interesting.
Have you seen Memento?
Yes.
Is that auteur? No.
It is to a certain degree. I think the way that it's
more auteur than Batman.
It is.
Well, yeah.
But not visually. I don't want to say it's not good visually, but like I think like on a level of the way that it's built, like cut, totally auteur. Like no one had ever seen anything like it before. Yeah. But this was shot like a French film. This was shot like it was different. Like this is weird. Like why is there so much open space in this shot, right? Where you don't want open space unless you're trying to make them look small. Right? Like so with Memento, everything was very personal. It wasn't auteur in the sense of like what am I looking at right now? Like what is happening?
Memento was I don't think Memento was an auteur movie at all.
I don't.
It was more
I mean,
like
I feel like only it was. I only say auteur because no one had ever seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
It was groundbreaking.
But this is definitely Chris Nolan's most auteur film to
This
date.
is
You could tell
most
there was a
experimental.
lot of passion behind this movie.
yeah, it's,
And that he was trying a lot of different things and stepping outside of his comfort zone.
Tell
which
you
is
what,
cool.
I want to shoot an aerial fighter jet scene.
Yeah.
I want to shoot one real
all
bad.
the aerial scenes were dope.
yeah. I don't.
That
That's
looked
some of the
crazy.
best aerial scenes I think I've ever seen.
Same.
It felt real and it's so
And it was
intense
almost
because
all
you're like,
practical.
is he gonna hit him?
Yeah, almost all practical. They flew with $1 million IMAX cameras strapped to these planes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
why even in the cockpit
reckless.
shots, even in the cockpit shots with Tom Hardy flying the plane, like they didn't need to do that practically. You could have just done it on a green screen, but they actually flew, and you can see that they actually did fly because like the camera was shaking up and down.
The
That
real
micro
shake.
vibration.
Was he wasn't
stuff.
flying that plane, was he?
No, that
Doubtful.
wasn't like the back seat. There
be
was an
crazy.
actual pilot flying.
That'd be tight.
Dude, he had. Dude, yeah.
What did Noel? What did you think?
It was my least favorite Christopher Nolan film. I still liked it because there was a lot of really there's a lot of moments that stand out to me because I was like very few movies have been as silent and as stressful as that movie for me. Like it definitely
Stressful in silence.
yes, and like it definitely was effective. It just wasn't my kind of movie, I guess.
That's
I've
fair.
also like slowly
Yeah.
started realizing that I don't love war movies as much as I used to. But I still like the war movies that I did like. But as war movies are coming out, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm interested in seeing them anymore because
Have they changed?
they haven't changed, and that's why.
Hmm.
Have you seen Band of Brothers?
I like
so
like
you're
I
saying
said,
the way war movies are made and structured now, and the stories they tell haven't changed.
they haven't changed enough. Like war happened, and I don't know, like
Interesting.
yeah. They're all just kind of the same. Not that they're bad. I just like I've seen the war story before.
The violence of a war movie is a different kind of violence
Yeah.
than something you get
Exactly.
in a superhero movie.
It's hard to digest.
It's almost too
sometimes.
familiar.
Mhm.
It's like it's almost just
And it's like sometimes the shock value
Yeah.
of like this is how it was is just like you
I
know
think-
you peel back that silver lining
Yeah.
of Hollywood and you're just like, hey guys, this is like we're trying to give you the most real
this like
experiences.
this happened. You're like, oh.
Oh, this is ugly.
I think
And they were very hard to understand in Dunkirk. But I
Yeah.
actually liked the movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
war movies, historical, so there's not. It happened already.
you can't change it.
Yeah, you can't really add stuff to it.
Totally.
Yeah.
But
Unless you're Quentin Tarantino.
I was right about
Yeah.
to say
like that's just straight
shoot
up
Hitler
fiction.
He's
in the
different.
face.
He's different.
Yeah, this is an alternate timeline, but it's the perspective that is being told in it. And this Dunkirk was just about what happened at this point in time, like in
Yeah.
this battle and this scenario and how it was resolved. It
Mhm.
wasn't about the characters per se, and it wasn't
Right.
diving into any of their psyche.
It was very much about
Saving
the
Private
event.
Ryan, straight up character development.
Yep.
American Sniper, that's literally almost all character development.
Mhm.
Like just so there's just different perspectives.
Fury, all character development.
Yeah, it wasn't
Fury-
about the war.
I honestly have to say Fury is probably my least favorite war film of recent production. Like I'm just not.
You weren't following it, or
No, I don't. Maybe it was like an expectation that I had set
Yeah.
previously before seeing it, like that I just predisposed in my mind before seeing the film, and I just it was not what I was expecting.
Mhm.
And also, I feel like being a tanker would suck.
True.
Like almost worse than like infantry. Because like infantry, you can run.
And you can breathe air.
You can run. You can get the hell out of there.
Yep.
Get out, dude. I just wasn't having a good time watching that film.
Okay.
And maybe
so it
that's
was your
what it was.
emotional response.
Yeah,
to it.
maybe
Okay.
that's what it. Maybe it's just my
Are you
response.
claustrophobic?
Maybe.
Well, now you
In
know.
a tank,
I
I am.
Maybe.
In a
Maybe I
tank during
am.
a
I don't know.
war,
I
would
just.
be.
I don't. I just. I've
I mean,
never
well,
had
that's
issue with that before.
yeah. I thought you had an issue with like the way the characters are laid out.
No,
or-
no. I like.
Because like with David Ayer, it seems like most of his movies are straight up just about the characters in these situations,
Right.
not about the situation itself.
Totally.
Oh no, you're totally correct about
Fury
that.
isn't about the war. It's how the characters reacted. In
Maybe
the
that
war.
was just another layer of why I just didn't like it as much as.
But then
That
on
makes
the
sense.
opposite side,
That makes sense.
Dunkirk is about the war
Yep.
and not about the characters being in the war.
And that's what was the interesting part too, is that I was talking to Noel about it, and it was the sense of morality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another thing you have to take into context too, where it's like maybe that was what he was trying to drum up as well. It's like maybe that's why he didn't make it as like bombs are coming, like hey, hit the deck.
Yeah.
He didn't want to make it that personal. He wanted you to realize
like this is just an act of war.
this is literally, and it's almost like he was trying to subliminally tell the audience that they had lost hope completely. It didn't matter if you screamed bomb.
Yeah.
You're gonna die.
Where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
You're gonna
Like,
hit the
there's
deck and
no
hope
hope.
to not.
What? So
Get
I
hit?
totally get that regard, and I totally get like if you're trying to show like this is just what war is. If you're a bystander looking in. But to me, I think my issue was when I was watching it, I was expecting differently. I was expecting to follow the characters, like characters in a story, like how they reacted in this situation. And so if the crowd, if those guys on the beach didn't react, like they didn't feel, or at least didn't seem like they felt in danger, then why should I feel any stake in it as an audience watching this?
Right.
You know?
No, I can understand what no, I mean there was a lot of stuff that was just like, okay, that's interesting. And I wonder if it's just because he had read so much on the personality or the way that these men felt. Because with like with Americans, we've all come to the conclusion that the American boys went in because it was almost like they had to. Like this was their duty to go do so because they needed to go save the free world. And it was either there was the guys that just went out and did it and they were heroes, or there was the guys that got drafted and they were scared out of their minds. And a lot of people can obviously like relate to the, hey, that's scary as hell and that would suck really bad. Whereas like with the British guys, it was like they were scared, but it was almost like they didn't care if they died or not. For me, that was what was interesting to me.
Just
I was like,
those guys on Dunkirk.
yeah, and I'd never seen like that specifically. Like
But then why in later or throughout the movie you see these guys like they really just want to go home?
right? No, totally. But like for
So
me,
if they didn't feel the fear of death,
you never saw. So for me, it's like I never saw a guy break down
yeah,
in Dunkirk. You go
Yeah.
watch Band of Brothers. You go watch, or you go watch like.
Even in Fury.
Yeah, Fury. You go watch watch one of the best breakdowns in a war film I think I've ever seen is Adam Goldberg in Saving Private Ryan.
yeah,
Oh, for me,
When he goes, hey, look, a youth Nazi, and it's like this is totally America. Like a guy from New York, from Bronx, like, hey, look, I got a Nazi youth knife, dude. After he just takes it from this 14-year-old kid he just killed, this German kid that was strapped up with like a friggin' Thompson. He's like, hey, look. And then like Adam Goldberg's like, yeah. And he like laughs and he takes his helmet off and just loses it because he was seconds away from dying. Right. And that I was like, oh my God, dude. I remember being a kid watching that and just being like,
Why did my parents let me watch this?
no, they didn't. I snuck it. Right. And then for me, I didn't see that in Dunkirk. I just saw them frantic. And I understand. And maybe that was the point. Maybe there was no moment as a soldier on Dunkirk that you had the time to even think about breaking down. You didn't have the time to do that. Because once you did that, you're dead. Right? And that's what was interesting to me. I was like,
totally, it's different.
And
That is
that
unique.
film, one of the cool things about that film, I think, just kind of closing out what I thought about it, it made me think. Whereas there's a difference between thinking about something and dwelling on something. Like I was stuck in thought, like I put myself in that situation there, rather than, wow, that was really sad. That sucks that happened. I would cry if I was in that situation. It wasn't about that. It was, I felt like I was there. And it was very interesting. I've never felt like that before watching a war film. I was like, whoa.
Dig that.
It was
That's dope.
it was a
So you took something away from it.
oh yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome.
I was
Yeah.
and that's the thing too. I had only known facts about this. And they always skim over it for whatever reason. And if you ever watch a documentary on World War II, they always skim over. They get to Dunkirk, the men that were on Dunkirk, somehow they got them out by a miracle because they allocated all these, civilian boats. Thank God for the civilians, right? But they never really dive into it, and I never knew why. And I'm so glad that someone did it. And of course, it was
But that
Christopher
moment
Nolan.
in your emotion bank.
Yeah, and it was cool. It was really cool to see. Definitely not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not what I was expecting, but great nonetheless.
Dope.
Cool.
Said my piece.
Samesies.
It's just, I think it's cool too. Like,
Yeah.
I obviously have a lot to say about this film.
Yeah,
Clearly.
Which is good.
I feel like it also is like a peek behind the blinds of what the British went through on like a larger level.
Yeah.
Like, because if you watch Band of Brothers, you really get a good idea of what America had to go through. Like, they had to literally just bust through all this line, whereas British, they were for more than half the war just trying to survive. So once Americans were there and they invaded Normandy, it was like, oh God, thank you. Now we can breathe. Let's start rebuilding. Let's start trying to like fortify some things. And then you don't really hear, I mean, you hear about the British tankers, you hear about them kind of helping Russian soldiers, you hear about them helping the French, and you hear about them helping, obviously, America, but you don't really, for whatever reason, there's like this big jump from like Dunkirk, nothing happens with the British, and then you see the African fox get taken down, which is a whole different set of rules in Africa. And you see the British come back, take Africa back, and it's kosher. But I thought it was really cool to see that side of everything because it gives you the idea of how long the British were in it before we even thought about war.
Right.
Like these guys were just losing for so long. And it's just like, man, it's like almost hopeless. There's a point in that film where you're like, so everyone dies. Got it. It's like, so there's no hope. Okay.
I forgot to mention, I really like Tom Hardy's character. Just because of the fact that he was the only character, at least to me, that we got the most emotional development from. And me as an audience member connected to that. The moment he was flying in his plane and he was about to run out of fuel, he needed to go back to refuel. But then the enemy planes were flying into the beach and there were still like over 100,000 guys left. And he made that choice. And you could see in his eyes, he turned around and saved everyone on the beach. And he himself, like, he sacrificed his own freedom to save them all. That was the biggest emotional arc for me, for a character in that movie. That's why I liked him the most.
I was that was a cool moment too, where I think I was very surprised to see, you don't really get to see it, but you got to see like Nazi soldiers take him. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, interesting ending there. It's like,
Your boy Tom Hardy didn't deserve that.
I was like, okay, way to Game of Thrones it there, dude. Way to like just undeservedly kill someone.
I don't think he died. He was probably a POW, and
hey, man, killed a soul.
I don't know. I don't know enough about how the Germans treated prisoners of war from different armies.
have you seen The Great Escape?
I have not seen that Great. No, I haven't seen Great Escape. Is that the old
That's what
one?
that song is from, or that whistle
With
tune.
McQueen, I
That's-
think, right?
Yeah, Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen. Dude, I
Literally,
want that
Steve
triumph.
McQueen. That's
I think he rode
the OG.
The OG.
The motorcycle he drove or rode
Yeah, road.
was a Triumph T100, which is the bike that I want to build.
He's a
Build it, bro.
motorcycle enthusiast, that Steve McQueen.
Yeah,
Sure fact.
And so he was like, I won't do this movie unless I can ride a motorcycle. Fun fact.
That's cool.
And so he did. So
And
he
so he did.
It's basically about a bunch of World War II POWs. I believe they were American. And it showed how they escaped a...
Is that a true story?
I don't know. Actually, I have
I'm gonna look it up. Thank
no
you.
idea.
I'm gonna look that up.
The Great Escape. I
I'm
think
sh-
it's based off a true story. They basically dug themselves out.
Didn't they make a
spoons.
game about that? They made a PS2 game.
I know that. I think a band, Boys Like Girls, they sang a song about it. Throw it away, forget yesterday. We'll make the great escape. That's
wow.
That was the theme
All right.
song for the
That's
movie.
the end of the episode. Cut.
My opinion on Dunkirk.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Dope.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We should probably wrap it up. We've been going a little long. But
True.
before we wrap it up, I want to ask you guys a question. Would you guys be interested in seeing HawkTalk as a live show? We've been thinking that maybe we should make it live and, do it that way and interact with you guys a little bit more one-on-one and make it an actual one-on-one live show. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, leave a comment below. Let us know. Tweet at us. I'm at Danny Lachef. Tony's at Walk on Tony. Noel's at Noel Lachef. And Jeremy's at Jeremy Lee with 3 Ys. Tres Ys.
Just ease.
And make sure to like us on Facebook. There's a good chance we might stream on there, but we also might do Twitch or YouTube. Let us know what you think we should stream on. And let us know if you guys want to see us stream. And on that note, we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
We love you.
Oh dang! I was gonna start doing something. It was gonna be my catchphrase. I was gonna end the show with something.
Well, it's a good thing you
Flippity
didn't, you
dippity.
dunce.
And always remember, a skiddly diddly, a diddly do.
Oh,
That's
that's
what
what
you
it
forgot?
was. That's what
How'd
it
you
was. He's
forget
been doing that
that?
at work. He's been doing that at work like every day.